Grandma's doll. When I was 9 years old, my father gave me a doll. The doll was beautiful and big, half my height. She had golden curly hair and blue eyes. She was wearing a beautiful white dress. When my father brought me the doll, he said that she had come from my grandmother, who had died a long time ago. The doll lay in a suitcase in the attic for several years. Then my father found it and brought it to me. I was very happy with this gift. At that age I liked to play with dolls. The first night, I put the doll next to me on the bed. I had a bad dream. I woke up and noticed that the doll's head was turned in my direction, and her eyes were looking at me. Having returned the doll's head to its normal position, I tried to fall asleep. After some time, opening my eyes, I was surprised to find that the doll's head was turned again, and her eyes were staring at me. I thought that maybe she was alive, a childish thought, but at the time it seemed really possible to me. I asked her, "Why are you looking at me?" Of course, she didn't answer. A few minutes later I fell asleep. The next day, when I woke up, I went to the bathroom to wash my face and found a small bruise on my left wrist. The bruise looked like a small handprint. I immediately thought about the doll, remembered how she looked at me at night. After washing, I returned to the room and went to the bed where the doll was lying. Her head was upright. Her eyes were fixed on the ceiling. Then my father came in and told me to get dressed quickly, because we had to go to the hospital to see the dentist. After coming from the doctor, I spent the whole day with my neighbor, who was my best friend. In the evening before going to bed, I removed the doll from the bed and put her in the corner where my other two dolls were lying. I had another terrible dream, and it was about that new doll. When I woke up, I saw that the doll was lying next to me on the bed, turning its head and looking at me. I screamed in surprise. A few seconds later, my father came into my room and turned on the light. "What happened?" he asked. I answered that the doll that was lying in the corner was in my bed, and that scared me. My father smiled, came over and kissed me on the forehead. "Sleep tight," he said, "and I'll take the doll into the hall." I nodded and wiped my eyes, wet with tears. My father left, but I couldn't fall asleep. I tossed and turned on the bed for an hour, but then somehow fell asleep. Morning came. I got up, washed my face and went to the kitchen, but my father wasn't there. Strange, I thought. In the mornings, he always met me in the kitchen, making breakfast. I went to his room and opened the door. My father was lying on the floor next to the bed, all pale. It was as if I had been struck by electricity when I saw that he was lying there and not breathing. I ran up to him screaming, "Dad, Dad!" My father did not answer. Through my tears, I saw that the doll was sitting opposite his bed and looking at me. It seemed to me that she was smiling, or maybe it was not my imagination. Not remembering myself, I grabbed her by the hair, opened the window and threw her out into the street. Then I ran out into the hall, picked up the phone and started calling the ambulance. They arrived quickly, but there was nothing they could do. My father was dead. The doctors asked me about my relatives and called the local police officer. Later, when my relatives arrived and I came to my senses a little, I suddenly thought, what if someone picks up the doll and the same thing happens to their family as happened to me? I ran out into the street and went to the place under the window where I threw it, but I still couldn't find the doll. Many years have passed since then. I grew up, but I can't forget about that doll. Sometimes I dream about it. Then I wake up screaming and can't fall asleep for a long time.